think most of those guys on Ohio State's D line from last year, I think most of those guys are gone.
Yeah, I
So
think they're playing on Sunday.
yeah, they're playing on Sunday.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership where coaching wisdom meets real talk. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Throwdown Thursday edition, it's here, folks. We kick off the 2025 college football season in segment one, Power 4 preview. In segment two, group of 5-6 preview. And in segment three, we talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Joining us today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton, and our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. So let's get to it. Power 4, SEC, top four, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and LSU. On the outside looking in, we've got South Carolina, Ole Miss, Florida, Tennessee, and that sneaky Texas A&M. Games of the week, Texas versus Ohio State and LSU versus Clemson. Let's just jump to our Texas correspondent, Robert Abney. What are our preseason thoughts headed into week one with the SEC?
Well, what I'm hearing from Austin is that the defense is looking pretty good. Arch Manning is looking pretty good. They're worried about the O-line. So let's see what happens when they now I will say I think most of those guys on Ohio State's D-line from last year, I think most of those guys are gone.
Yeah, I
So
think they're playing on Sunday.
yeah, they're playing on Sunday. That being said, it is Ohio State, and I'm sure they have a few more guys just hanging out that they can throw in there. So I think it sounds like to me I know Ohio State has that Jeremiah Smith kid who is just ridiculous as a receiver. Texas's DBs are pretty good. But it's going to be interesting to see, offensive line for Texas, defensive line for Ohio State. Let's see what you got, because that's where the game's going to be, I think.
All right, Will, this week in the SEC, as we preview them, getting ready for the kickoff, anything catch your eye in the SEC?
Yeah, I don't know how Florida is outside looking. I don't know if Florida's even on that list. They're not good. They still have that coach that they had. I forgot Billy Napier, I think they're still hyped still. I think they're still going off the name Florida, but I've been following what's going on in the offseason. They haven't really grabbed anyone of note. Um, Luckily enough, no one's been hurt. But other than that, I don't think they're really going to make a splash in the SEC.
They have the toughest. They have to play everybody.
Yeah, yeah, and this is
They have
probably
the toughest schedule in the SEC. They have to
oh
play.
yeah,
They
this make or break.
they're not getting to play Mississippi State or teams that are less good in the SEC. Everybody's good in the SEC.
Oh yeah, everyone's much better. I don't think Florida is. I think they might even fire their coach mid-season, to be honest with you.
Ouch.
I mean,
They got DJ Langway if he's not hurt.
well, I mean,
Okay.
Hey,
All
what
right.
happens? What happens at LSU if they lose to Clemson?
Man, Brian Kelly might have to change his accent, I'm guessing. Okay. All right, Big Ten. Will, I'm going to start with you. Top four, Ohio State, Penn State, we are. Oregon, Illinois, and on the outside looking in, Michigan, Indiana, USC, Iowa, Nebraska. And the game this week I need folks to pay attention to. Nebraska is playing Cincinnati, and it's year 3 for Matt Rule. Will anybody in the Big Ten catch your eye that we should pay attention to?
oh yeah, Ohio State every year. Obviously Penn State with the highest ranking and the longest. I haven't seen them. Um, Oregon is always interesting to see there. They lost a lot of talent last year, so we'll see if they can keep it up with the Big Ten. Interesting. Illinois. Never really seen them, but as an East Coaster, I always see them at 12 o'clock. They're always playing Syracuse, or they're playing somebody else. So this would be a good, real opportunity for them to put their name into the national sort of spotlight and say, hey, we're here balling. I know they looked at Indiana and they were like, well, shoot, why not us? Why not us too? So it's good to see different teams, good to see the parity. But the big dogs are in the top three, and I think that's where it's going to stay in the Big Ten.
All right, Robert, feel free to tear it
Yeah,
down again. It's all right.
Indiana's non-Big Ten schedule is poop.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
They are playing St. Agnes for the blind and one-legged and William and Mary, not the school. Two guys named William and Mary.
William and Mary.
I mean, their schedule is bad, but you know what? Do not be shocked if they're undefeated when they go to Ohio State in November. Do not be surprised if that happens.
All right, Robert, go ahead.
USC?
Yeah.
Look, Lincoln Riley has another year to try to do it. He's got to do better or he'll be out of it too. So it'll all play itself out. So speaking of playing itself out, Robert, I'm going to start with you. Big 12. Top four is Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State. Great game yesterday, folks. BYU, and on the outside looking in, Texas Tech, money well spent. Utah, TCU, Colorado, and Kansas. And the game you want to watch this coming week, Georgia Tech versus Colorado. Robert, Big 12, they tell us it is the most balanced league. I don't know what that means, but you'll tell.
Well, you're making a big mistake leaving Texas Tech out of that top four, because I think they have as good a shot as anybody to win the conference. They, like you said, money well spent. They loaded up in the portal, so they should be pretty good. Baylor is going to be pretty good. I don't know how good, because they're a little bit under the radar, but Baylor is going to be pretty good again. It'll be interesting to see what Colorado looks like post Sanders boys. And, Dion has kept a low profile in the offseason. We haven't heard a whole lot of portal stuff. We haven't heard a whole lot about kids he signed. We know he's been sick. So let's see what happens with Colorado. It will not be a good sign if Georgia Tech goes into Folsom Field and beats the brakes off them. We'll know that.
All right, Will, Big 12, what are you thinking?
Same thing with Robert, man. Colorado, for the last 2 years, Colorado was the biggest team. You couldn't even talk about anything in Big 12 with Colorado. But now it just seems that they don't have the same luster that they had the last couple of years. I mean, don't get me wrong. You lose NFL talent, especially one of them is the Heisman winning player. You don't recover from, I don't believe, unless you're like Texas, Alabama, Georgia, you don't recover from stuff like that. I don't think, at least not easily. So we'll see, man. I think we're going to see a big regression from Colorado. I think, again, they still don't have a good line yet. They're still little guys. Now they lose a lot of that dynamic players that they've lost. To be honest with you, I expect them to take a immediate take a step back, and I think Prime will start to look to somewhere else's, maybe Florida State, maybe Florida for a big game, because I think it's already ran his course. I think he's kind of over it, kind of thing. It's going to be a lot of parity, and I'm wondering if these teams are just going to beat each other up to the end, and then whoever is left standing is going to make it to the playoff.
Somebody's going to make it.
Somebody got to make it to the playoff.
Somebody's going. Okay,
yeah, just one, but they're going to be so beaten down. But maybe they could be battle tested. You never know. So very interesting with the Big 12. See how it goes, and obviously the schedule and who comes out and who is progressing at the right time. But we'll see.
Yeah, that's the gimmick they're pushing
in Big 12.
The parity gimmick is what they're pushing for the Big 12, whatever that means. All right. Finally, ACC and Notre Dame, we're going to lump them in together, especially if ACC has to go to 9 teams, but that's a Friday topic. Top 4, Notre Dame, Clemson, Miami, and SMU on the outside looking in, Louisville, Georgia Tech, Syracuse. Duke might be sneaky for those of you doing things strictly for entertainment purposes only, and Florida State. Will, any thoughts on the ACC and Notre Dame, because we're going to lump them in? Games of the week, Alabama is playing at Florida State. Coastal's playing Virginia. Don't lose. Virginia Tech is playing South Carolina, a little Beamer family Notre Dame playing Miami, and TCU starting off against Bill Belichick-led North Carolina. So, again, there's a lot going on in the ACC. Will, what are your thoughts, man?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna watch Notre Dame, Miami. I like my man Marcus Freeman. Pretty much we're the same age. I want to believe that he's like 38, 39 like me. So I just love his success. I love that he's probably commanding right now as the NCAA is one of the best coaches out there. And I love it all the time. They got event Miami is always. We'll see what happens with Stetson with Bennett. Oh yeah,
I
that
don't
kid.
think it's that's a bit. It's
Not Bennett.
Carson
It's the what's his name?
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck. That's a
Yeah,
bit. It's
the
like
kid who had
LA or
his
something.
Lamborghini stolen and his girlfriend is cheating on him. And I hear more about him not playing football than doing well in football. You would think if you win a national championship or recently, and then you go to an area or you go to a different team, you'd be surprised that you're like, oh man, well this kid is ramping up, he's looking good. You're not really hearing a lot of that. I can really think Miami is not going to be is where they're going to be, even in the ACC. I just don't think. But the thing that they love is in Miami, they have an amazing offensive line. They can pass protect. They can run block. That's the crux. So if you can protect your quarterback, you're gonna have a shot. You can definitely win. And so I would keep my eye on Miami because you lose Cam Ward, and now you get Carson Beck. We'll see how it looks moving forward because they were right there for the playoffs towards the end, but didn't make it.
All right, Robert, ACC Notre Dame. What are you thinking, sir?
Well, I'm with Will. I'm gonna watch that because I can remember back in the days when that was Catholics versus convicts. So
Great 30 for 30.
just for nostalgic purposes, I'll watch that. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Bill Belichick show rolls out. Let's see what happens there. Is the hype going to match the product on the field? My guess is probably not.
All right. So Florida State, Alabama has my attention strictly for entertainment purposes only because Alabama has to impress because you can't slow down in the SEC. And Florida State came off from the outhouse, from the pit house to the outhouse, and you've got to play better, or Will might be right. Colorado may be losing their coach. I don't know. All right. So, fans, in segment 2, we'll talk about the group of 5-6. We joke about the Pac-2 at least for one more year. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student-athlete success. I believe every student-athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student-athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Coaches Podcast in segment 2. We're going to start off with the American. I think that's all they're going to go by now. It's not the American Athletic Conference. And with the group of 5-6, we're only doing top 2. So top 2 is Memphis and Army. On the outside looking in, Tulane and Navy. And this week they've got a chance to make some noise. So Boise State is going to play South Florida, and East Carolina is playing NC State. Robert, anybody had a chance to make some national news out of the American this first week?
Um, I haven't seen anything. It's going to be interesting to UTSA has been good past few years. Not great, good. They get to go to Kyle Field and Texas A&M this weekend. So let's see what that looks like. If they can hang around, and if they hang around and play well, I mean, that could bode well for the rest of their season. They get beat 45-7. Well, I guess they are what we thought they were, right?
Okay. All right. Well, I also forgot to mention that Northwestern is going to Tulane. So does anybody in the American have a chance to make some national news, is what we would say, this first week?
No. I mean, unless UTSA beats Texas A&M, that'll get people waking up like, oh crap, what happened now? And on the road, that'd be a great win for UTSA.
So for me, East Carolina against NC State. East Carolina is trying their darndest to be a football school, so they have a shot. That's a game that, strictly for entertainment purposes, you may want to keep an eye on. All right, let's go to Conference USA. Top two, the Liberty Flames and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. We're not looking too many teams on the outside, but I'll tell you what, Old Dominion is going to Indiana. Old Dominion has some familiarity with Indiana's coaching staff. Maybe they have a shot at it. Will anybody from Conference USA have a chance to keep your attention this week?
Oh, unless you put like a season-long bet for Liberty, not really. Not really.
All right. Does Old Dominion have a chance, Robert, to go to Indiana on the first game and do something?
No.
All right. Well, let's get to the action. Top two, the Buffalo Bulls and the Toledo Rockets on the outside looking in. Ohio Bobcats games of the week. Ohio is traveling to Rutgers. Rutgers better not lose to Ohio. And Buffalo is going to Minnesota. And Toledo is going to Kentucky. Robert, does anybody in the MAC have a chance to get some national news this week?
Usually when these MAC teams are playing Big Ten teams, there are a couple of games that are at least close and interesting. I could see, because I don't think either Rutgers or Minnesota are great. I can see both of those games being competitive. I don't think Ohio or Buffalo will win, but I can see those games being interesting at least.
All right. What about you, Will? Will the MAC get some national news this week?
I don't know. I think we'll see what happens. But as the Cotton family who lives in Rochester, New York, we will be rooting for the Buffalo Bulls because I have a ton of cousins who went there, and they tell me that they matter, I guess.
Okay. All right. The Mountain West Pac-2, and I don't know if the court has decided all of that yet, but we'll let that go. Top two, Boise State and UNLV, and UNLV is coming off of a week 0 win. Outside looking in, San Jose State, Washington State, and Oregon State. Not really any games that paused me this week, other than Boise State playing at South Florida. Robert, anything with the Mountain West or Pac-2 that's going to hold our attention as we head into week 1?
I mean, UNLV beat Idaho State, which is a, Big Sky, BCS. I mean, the
FCA, I don't know.
The playoff, the 1AA.
Yes.
Whatever they call those guys now who play in the playoff, as opposed to the Big Five, the Power Five playoff. Anyway, UNLV did not look great though. They really struggled with Idaho State. And Idaho State is good. Don't get me wrong. They were, I think, national semis last year, maybe. They're pretty good. But UNLV didn't look good. So could be probably means nothing, but it was interesting anyway.
All right. Will any Mountain West Pac-2 team catch your interest this first week?
UNLV. I got a couple of buddies who live out in Vegas who always talk about them being pretty well, and they go out to some games over there if they're not going to the Raiders game. Keep an eye on UNLV, and hopefully they can keep it exciting like they did last year.
It
All
it
right.
actually looked like they played at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sun Belt, top two, James Madison Dukes and South Alabama Jaguars. Outside looking in, Georgia Southern. Again, no game really caught my eye this week. Will anybody in the Sun Belt catch your eye this week for you to pay attention to?
The Sun Belt always reminds me of the Chitlin circuit. it's always it's always sound like, you get these teams, you're like, oh hell no. Keep an eye on James Madison. They really disappointed a lot of fans last year. They thought they were going to really make that take leap or step, I should say. So yeah, keep an eye on them, because if you can keep those players and still remember what last year, they could be very dangerous, because remembering they got him, they should have made it at least into, or talked to into, the playoff, and they kind of didn't. So let's see if they have that same focus or fire coming into the season, knowing that they have the window is closing, I should say.
All right. What about you, Robert? In terms of the Sun Belt, any team going to catch national attention this week?
Texas State, eat them up. That's all I got.
Who do they play?
No idea.
No idea. All right. And finally, HBCUs, top two, South Carolina State and Jackson State. North Carolina Central looked good yesterday. I think they played Southern, and Florida A&M should have a good year. This week, we've got Delaware State taking on Delaware. This is an opportunity to do something. So let's see how Deshaun Jackson does. Good luck to him. So fans, in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for fun and entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy, designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast. In segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Preseason top 12. So with the iCoaches Podcast, unlike most network television, we're just talking about who we think are going to make the playoffs. And everybody else, that was what segments 1 and 2 were for. Are you going to garner our attention this week? More likely than not, no. So, conference champions, preseason pick for Odd Coaches Podcast, SEC Texas, Big Ten Penn State. They're going to stop me on that, fans, every week. Big 12 Kansas State, they took an L. ACC Clemson, Group of 6 Tulane is my early season pick. And the at-large teams, Notre Dame, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas Tech, Miami and Alabama on the outside looking in as we go into week 1. Tennessee, Oregon, Arizona State, Duke, and Boise State. Will, they ain't taking but 12 teams. These are the teams going into the season that I'm like, maybe we should keep an eye on them. What do you think about the initial preseason picks, sir?
I like them. I like them. You have a nice combination of standard teams that always, make it into the playoffs, and a couple ones that you never do. I mean, obviously Tulane and Penn State. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I would probably remove Penn State. I think
I know you would.
I think I'm going to remove that one.
I know you will.
Well, I don't know how it's going to shape up or what's going to happen, but I'll tell you, Penn State will not be in it.
Oh, Robert, anything about my preseason picks before we continue on with strictly for entertainment purposes only?
Well, I think Penn State is going to be in the playoff. I do not think they're going to win the Big Ten. I think they'll be in the playoff. I don't think Kansas State is going to win the Big 12. I think that's going to be Texas Tech. I think that Arizona State, it's going to be interesting to see because they snuck up on everybody last year, and they'll still be good. I mean, it's not hard to recruit to Tempe, Arizona, because the fall and winter there are quite pleasant. But the history isn't really there. So let's see what year 2 looks like for that guy. And I think Boise State is your group of 6 team until proven otherwise.
Oh, all right. So fans, I nail in the head over and over, strictly for entertainment purposes only. The Odd Coaches podcast, we do some sports betting just for conversational purposes only. For the past 5 years, we've dabbled, we've prepped, and we've prepared. And now follow us on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Kelly will put that up on the screen for our season-long and weekly picks. Here's the model, because I don't mind talking about it out loud because it's for fun, not college funds. I bet $5 for preseason, regular season, and bowl game bets, season-long bets, all of that stuff, and all of that will be posted. And once we get to the playoffs, 10 big bucks, and for the national championship, $15. So, hey, fans, my wife doesn't even care. It keeps me occupied, and I'm not bothering her. So for those of you who are into it, I use VSiN. I think the Vegas Sports and Insider Network is worth the money, so I like them. I also like CBS Sportsline, and I like AI. And I'm also using my coaching instincts for whatever it's worth, and my goal is to get to 53%. Okay? That's me. Will Cotton is in the thing strictly for entertainment purposes only. Will, can you talk a little bit about what you do, again, as we just have fun every week?
Oh yeah, I mean, we just have fun. I like to use it I like to read data. I mean, like Coach does as well. I'm sure Robert would like to look at data.
Oh, Robert, leave him out of this.
Well, no, I do like reading data. I do like finding trends. That's part of my job, and for as a risk analyst, as an engineer, as well as just I think it's fun. If you can find those little inklings here and there. I mean, I play fantasy base. I play every fantasy everything. I play fantasy college football. I even did that. I wish I got into fancy golf, but I just love the data. I just love to know what's going on. I love the trends. I love to follow them. Preparation, definitely on that. With AI, they're actually a website called StatMuse, and they are an AI controlled system where you can sort of enter the same kind of questions like ChatGPT, and it can pull stuff out based on sports. It could be like, how many times have Miami beaten Florida State in the rain on a Saturday, blah 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 blah, and it'll give you all the information. So it's just good information. I like reading it. Sometimes I don't even bet. Sometimes I just like to say I know what's going to happen because it always happens, and that is history. But yeah, I love the resources, and it definitely adds a little flavor and spice into some games that we're watching, like Boise State versus UNLV. I might add a little, might add a little spirit to that one.
All right. So, fans, for week 1, here are the games.
Well,
Go ahead.
Hang on. You got it. So you said that I'm out, and let me make this. I do not bet.
No.
I'm an official for the NCAA for football and basketball. I do not bet. Can't do it. It's part of the deal. We have to watch a gambling video. I don't bet. I pay attention to the data. It's interesting, but that is not me. And it's not legal to do that in Texas. Anyway, there's,
Now that I didn't know.
That stuff doesn't work here. So
wow.
I'm out.
See, fans, this is what we talk about. We're regular folks, and you learn stuff because I didn't know that. So now I can't move to Texas. Okay. So, so in terms of games, we're going to watch. Okay. So now we're just watching games. They've got Texas as an underdog against Ohio State. I'll take that every time. They've got Notre Dame, a slight favorite over Miami. I like Notre Dame. They got Clemson as a slight favorite over LSU. I'm not a Brian Kelly fan. And for the sanity of college football, although I'm not a fan of Dabo Swinney, we need Clemson to win for the sanctity of college football. UNC, 3-point underdog against TCU. I need Bill Belichick to win some games because the shot he took against the New England Patriots ownership was Mike King level petty, and I'm all in on Mike King level petty. Yeah. Toledo against Kentucky. I'm interested in that one because Toledo is supposed to be one of the group of 5 teams, and Kentucky is not one of the better SEC teams. So if you're going to win something, that'll be, a place to go. So anyway, Will, is there anything you are interested in this week, sir?
Sure. I like LSU plus 2.5. I think they'll definitely cover. I think they're a tough out from Clemson. And, they always kind of, we'll 50-50. We'll see how Dabo comes out, we'll see. But I know he's been itching to get back on that field. So we'll see about that. Yeah, I do like Notre Dame 2.5 versus Miami. I think they're going to handle them pretty easily. I think they're going to say like, man, Carson Beck is not Cam Ward. Very early on, they'll figure that out. But everything else looked good, Coach. I like it, definitely. We'll see who Florida runs into. We might drop a little, I'm not a believer, so I may drop the, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love the picks. I'm gonna take some of them for them. I'm gonna add a couple ones myself. That's a good baseline.
Yeah, so every week, fans, so you'll know, I'll do a single play that I will post. I'll do a 2-play spread that I will post. I'll do a 3-play spread that I will post. I'll do 4 money line winners. I'll do an over game, which I usually fail miserably on. I'll do an under game because I will think somebody in the Big 12 is going to play defense. And Robert would say, no one plays defense in the Big 12. I don't know why you do that. And I'll have an upset pick of the week. So again, follow me on @OddCoaches on the X platform, and we'll have our picks there and have fun because it's strictly for entertainment purposes only. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I am Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership where coaching wisdom meets real talk, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network. And we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram @OddCoaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram @CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.